What's up, guys? Carolina Jackpot coming at you on Thursday afternoon. This morning I heard a conversation on the radio about the Georgia Bulldogs and are they ready to unseat the Alabama Crimson Tide as kings of the SEC? And my personal opinion, I think it could definitely happen. And I see that happening this year, as a matter of fact. And let me just tell you why. Okay, first off, Georgia's got a couple things a couple of unknowns there. Got a new offensive coordinator coming in. I think they'll be fine as far as that goes. They got an experienced quarterback we know in Jake Fromm. I like Jake Fromm. 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year. He's got like a 5-to-1 ratio, TD to interception, which he also had the year before that. Okay, he's not going to beat you with his legs. He has not got the strongest arm in the world, but he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to because of the type of offense they run. They tend to stay more conservative, and they're rarely going to get themselves in that situation where he needs to throw that deep ball. So there's that. But he can make all the throws that he's required to make in that offense. Now, how is it going to change coming up this year? I don't know. Probably not a whole lot. Smart is another one of those. Like I said, he's a conservative type coach, and he's more like Nick Saban than any of these other of his former assistant coaches who are now coaches. I think he'll be the first one of Nick's assistants to finally take him down. And I think that's going to happen this year. I don't think that's going to be because it's, like a do-or-die situation either, because we all know Fromm is a junior this year, a true junior, and this will be his last year in college. The guy's going to the NFL draft. How high he goes, I'm not sure. I'm thinking he's a first-round pick, possibly a late first round, but he's a first round pick. He's just that good of a talent. He's a smart guy, and smart quarterbacks, they make it in the NFL. Is he as talented, as Tua Tagovailoa as far as athletically? Probably not, but I'm not sure if that's going to matter. I don't think he's a Heisman Trophy candidate by any means, but he is probably the second best quarterback in the SEC. And, I would dare say he may be the first. Looking at their schedule this year, it lines up pretty well for them. Basically the same schedule as last year. The only team they play out of conference is Notre Dame. As far that's going to give them a challenge. They have two non-Power 5 teams, and then they have Georgia Tech, who's not going to pose any kind of threat whatsoever. They're really going to have to retool a lot down there at that program. Notre Dame's not beating Georgia. They're not beating Georgia in Athens. They wouldn't beat them in South Bend. I mean, we've seen what Notre Dame is all about, especially when it comes to the big games, the really big games that count. They flop. I mean, they really do. They flopped last year against Clemson. They flopped in the past when they've made it. Deep into a season, and I just don't trust Notre Dame at all. I don't see them going into Athens and picking up a victory. So I think Georgia and the trajectory that they're on, they could definitely run the table, and end up 12-0 at the end of the regular season. Then you come SEC championship game time. Well, the only serious threat that I see to Alabama in that SEC West is LSU. Texas A&M, they think they're going to be a threat. I don't think Texas A&M is going to be quite the threat that they think they're going to be this year. They may be a year or two away from that. I think the loss of Travion Williams is going to hurt them a little bit more than what a lot of people are realizing right now. Of course, Georgia's lost a little bit in the backfield. Elijah Holyfield's gone. He was a 1,000-yard rusher, but DeAndre Swift was also a 1,000-yard rusher, and they split time back there. They're always going to have talented backs, I think, as long as they're playing football down there. James Cook, pretty good numbers last year for a freshman. And then, of course, you have Zamir White, which you heard me talk about in yesterday's video about the Gamecocks. If Zamir White is anything like he was in high school, man, it's over. It's over for a lot of opposing defenses. I'm just telling you right now. The SEC West is a little bit tougher than the SEC East, but the SEC East is still, it's catching up. It's catching up with them. I think Tennessee's getting better. I think Florida is, I think they're overrated, but I still think, a solid team. I think Missouri, a solid team. My Gamecocks, they have ability to be a solid team. Now, will they be a solid team? I don't know. Kentucky's a solid team. You have a lot of solid teams there. You don't have a lot of really what I'd call above average cusping on we're fixing to make it to a New Year's Six Bowl type teams. But we have some pretty good teams. The recruiting classes the past 3 years, Georgia finished third in 2017, number one in 2018, and number two back here the past year that we just finished up. What's that, 2019? So restocking the cupboard the right way, slowly, methodically, and I think that Kirby Smart is going to take down Nick Saban this year. They've been really close. They have been really close 2 times in games that they dominated. They dominated that SEC championship game this year. They were a stupid fake punt call away from, being able to take control of that. If they had just made the right decision there at that particular point in time, punted that ball away, who knows? I think that game would have turned out differently. And then there you go. The year before, national championship game, what can I say? Georgia dominated that one the entire game. Alabama comes back with the ace in the hole in the second half. And, it should have come up just short. Should have come up just short, but it didn't. It didn't. And like I heard today, though, you can only come up to bat so many times before you finally get a hit. And I think this is the year that they get that hit. I think Georgia takes Alabama down this year and becomes the kings of the SEC. That's just the way I see it. Let me know what you think down in the comment box below. And let me know about any other teams that you'd like me to talk about, break down, give synopsis on, give my evaluation on, or picks and predictions about. I'm open to all suggestions. I'll see y'all later. Go Gamecocks. Go Coach Boone.